All right, we should be going live right now in the YouTube Ads for Entrepreneurs Facebook group. We should be popping up in any second in the Facebook group here. Hope everybody is doing fantastic. Very excited to be here. We should be live. Lauren, if you could just check that we are live in the YouTube Ads for Entrepreneurs Facebook group. I'm so excited for another amazing AMA. I'm joined today by Lauren, who is our marketing content coordinator here at Ad Outreach. She's going to be feeding questions to me, and I am very excited to dive into all of your biggest YouTube ads questions, omnipresent retargeting questions, questions on growing a business. We're on track for our first $1 million month this month in Ad Outreach, and I want to share everything that we've learned about YouTube ads, about business, about omnipresent retargeting, marketing. So let us know your biggest questions down there in the comments. So hope everybody is doing fantastic. Like I said earlier, we've got Lauren here as well, going to be feeding questions. Let's start off with some of the questions from the past comments, and then we can go over to this live stream right now. But if you are watching right now, let us know your biggest YouTube ads questions or marketing questions down there in the comments. I'm excited to dive into them right here in this AMA. I'm actually, just recently moved down here to Austin, Texas, which is exciting. Still setting up the home office here. You can see I've got one of my favorite pieces of wall art back here, but gotta fill up the walls a little bit more. But we're gonna be diving in. Lauren, why don't we kick it off with the first question?
Of course. So many people were curious about this question. And so it's kind of just, what is your top ninja tricks for making the most out of YouTube ads? Like, hacking credit card points or something, things like that in that sense, so that entrepreneurs can make the most out of their YouTube ad investments.
Oh, that's a great question. So, in terms of the YouTube ad side, and we can talk about, obviously, the credit cards, that's kind of like the cherry on top. But in terms of YouTube ads, some of the best ways to make sure that your dollars are going to be spent the best way possible is to make sure that you're layering your campaigns, especially from the beginning. Now, as you scale and you get bigger and bigger, then you might look to launch, more unlayered campaigns that have, single audiences, or they have keywords. But what I highly recommend is if you are going out there and you're starting some of your first campaigns for your business, you want every single dollar to count, then I highly recommend our 3D, three-dimensional YouTube ads targeting strategies. Now, I have found that those are the secret to high converting YouTube ads campaigns, because the biggest problem that people face is, oftentimes when people start running ads on YouTube, then they start with placement ads. Now, these placement ads, they're just selecting a variety of different videos that they're running their ads in front of. Maybe you've tried that. Maybe you've seen people talk about that. That's kind of, a standard entryway that people get into YouTube ads, right? They run their ads in front of specific videos. Now, you can get a good amount of conversions from that, but the problem is those campaigns aren't that scalable. You take a look at those campaigns that have a collection of different videos. Even if you have hundreds of videos in those campaigns, it's hard to scale those campaigns and scale those good results. So what most people do is they go over and they say, okay, I want to do something a little more broad. I want to, target an audience, or I want to target just keywords or a topic of videos. And those have a lot of scale. But the problem is you're not necessarily defining the perfect ideal client to target your ads to. Maybe you've tried this before. You've gotten some good results with placement ads. You couldn't scale them up. So then you go and you test keywords, you go test topics, or maybe you go and test an audience. But the problem with that is because those aren't layered and they're so big, right? What you're going to be doing, let's say you're running ads in front of, the advertising and marketing topic, right? There's so many things that covers, or health and fitness, or maybe you're running ads in front of, keywords, how to lose weight, or solar, whatever it happens to be. Yes, that can work quite well. But the problem is you're not actually targeting the right person. You're reaching somebody who's looking something up, but how do you know that this is the perfect ideal client you're looking for? And so that's why with our 3D YouTube ads targeting, we highly recommend layering your demographics, and that's who that person is, right? So where they're based out of. So the location is a big part of that. Their age demographics, other details about that person. And you can even do in specific countries like the United States and Canada and Australia, you can do household income as well. So you could target people who are in the top tier household income, especially if you're a coach, consultant, course creator. Usually we'll be looking for, top 20%, top 10%, top 30% of income earners so that they actually can buy your high ticket services. So you take that and you layer it with the videos that they're watching, right? So you have those keywords. So not the placements, that's too narrow, it's hard to scale, but you would take those keywords, those topics, those collections of videos, right? So it could be, let's say you're selling something in the weight loss niche or in the workout niche, could be how to lose weight, how to get fit, those keywords, could be a health and fitness topic. You have these selections of topics and keywords and the videos they're watching now, but the secret, like you said, Lauren, the ninja trick that you need to add is add on the audience. You need to make sure that you're also layering with who that person actually is. It's not just about, the demographics and about what they're watching. You want to reach the right person. And so, for us, what I love to do is layer with people that have been on clickfunnels.com before, or, people who are in the market for marketing and advertising services. There's a wide variety of different audiences you can target. And if you're wondering how these audiences work, we actually recently did a post right here in this group where we gave you the ability to get access to one of our deep audience targeting keyword sheets. So I'm sure that Lauren can drop that. If you guys are watching this after the fact on YouTube, we'll post that down there in the comments or the link to the group where you can get access to that sheet. So that's what I recommend doing, is layering with those 3D YouTube ads targeting. I was actually just on a presentation. I was one of the panelists, or actually not a panelist, actually, I was leading a whole workshop on the Social Media Examiner workshops, which was fantastic. We were gonna be on the stage at, Social Media Marketing World, but obviously, that didn't end up happening this year. But we did the workshops instead, and I was leading, exactly how to do these 3D YouTube ads targeting. That's one of the things that I love talking about, and I talk about on here, and I'm telling you about this. That's the breakthrough aha moment. And that's exactly what we help our clients do. We talk about this a lot in our masterclass. If you haven't gotten that yet, it's our 3-hour-long YouTube ads masterclass, just $47. We'll post a link somewhere around here as well. Basically covers what our strategy is. Obviously, if you want to get hands-on help, that's with our team as well. So that's the strategy that I found to work the best. Now, you also mentioned credit card points. We also have a training on how you can use credit card points so that when you're running any of these ads, you're getting, anywhere from, 2 to 8% back on your ad spend, and those are in the form of points. So 1 to 4 points. Points can be redeemed either for, a penny worth of cash or 2 cents worth of travel. Got a whole video on that. I figured it out. I get a little bit, nerdy on the YouTube ad side, but I do the same thing on credit card points. It's all about, in business, maximizing every opportunity you have. And so, if I'm looking at maximizing those credit cards, I'm also looking and spending double the time, triple the time, 80% of the time focused on, all right, what are we going to do to maximize the YouTube ads targeting themselves? And the secret, the key, is making sure that you layer your campaigns from the beginning. In the future, as you scale, if you start spending, thousands of dollars a day on ads, then you can go out and you maybe go a little bit more broad and you have keyword only campaigns or you have audience only campaigns. I'll, just tell you, as you scale, you might be going into that. But if you are spending less than $1,000 a day, you absolutely, and that's most people watching now who are getting into YouTube, you're spending less than $1,000 a day, I highly, highly, highly recommend using our 3D YouTube ads targeting strategy, because that way you pinpoint the perfect person, demographics, you take the video they're watching and who they are as a person. That's what people leave out. And then that's what you're going to be able to do, is reach that ideal person. So that's a ninja strategy. Hopefully that answered the questions here. What's the next question we're going to dive into? And let's go back and forth from some questions that we're getting now on this live stream. And then I know we had some questions the other day when I posted I was going to do the AMA.
Of course. And thank you everyone for entering your questions in the comments. We have Juan here who said that that he loves your content.
Oh,
so thanks,
thank
Juan.
you so much.
So someone asked, Joel asked, Aleric, do you think a YouTube ad strategy can work with a Facebook group?
Yes, that's a great question. Yes. So YouTube ads do work very well for a Facebook group. There's two main ways to do it. The first is the way that you would do it if you have, a different type of funnel that you're running at the top of your funnel. What you can do is you can, of course, add a Facebook group to your middle of funnel targeting, where anybody who has opted in, anybody who has, actually signed up for any of your webinars, or maybe they've landed on your landing pages, people who are in your retargeting, what you can do is take all of them and run a YouTube ad that invites them to join the Facebook group. Now, the way that you would do this is using a bridge page. So you don't send them directly from the YouTube ad to the group, because then you can't track how many people actually join the group, how many people are actually interested. You can't optimize your campaigns off of that. So what you'll do is you'll send them from your YouTube ad to a bridge page. Now, this bridge page is kind of like a landing page. And actually, Lauren, you could drop this in the comments as well. It's adoutreach.com/group, I believe is the correct one, if you could just double check that. But you go to this page and it essentially says, we'd love you to join our YouTube Ads for Entrepreneurs Facebook group. Here's all the things that you're going to get. Click here. And it has this button at the bottom that has an embedded code in it. Now, what that button does is when people click it, it's going to take them to the group, but it's also going to log a click conversion on YouTube and Google Ads. So it sends that back to Google Ads and it says, hey, we got a conversion for somebody who clicked the button. Now, what we've done is we've taken a period of time with how long we've run that. We know that on average of all the people that click the button, it's going to be somewhere around 70% of those people that click the button are actually going to join the group. And we did that just by testing over a period of time, tracking all of the people that came through that funnel, cross-referencing it to the number of people that actually joined the group. But what we have found is if we can track with accuracy, okay, all the people that click the button, those are the people, a percentage of them are going to join the group. Then we can say, okay, let's optimize this campaign to get as many of these button clicks on that page as possible. So that's not just clicking from the ad. So they click the ad, they go to a page, and then instead of leaving the page, we don't track that. We only track the people that click the button that says join the group at the bottom. And we know the majority of those people do end up joining the group. Now, people have asked me, well, what about ManyChat? Well, you can do the exact same thing with ManyChat. You take your YouTube ads, you send them to a bridge page just like that. You tell them all the stuff they're going to get. You have the link to, to click to join, or maybe, message me on Messenger or whatever you want that message to be. And you click that, and then you load your custom URL, your custom ManyChat URL that goes directly into ManyChat. And that's what you would do as another alternative. So if you don't want to send them directly to the group, you could send them to your ManyChat and then go through a whole ManyChat sequence. You could add your group in that ManyChat sequence as well. That's a very common strategy. That way you have them both in ManyChat and in the group. And then ManyChat can also send them additional messages to get them to sign up for your trainings or email list, all the different things that you want to get people into. But it's not just warm traffic you can do this for, because wait a second. Once you start running this, once it starts to be effective, you can decide to go to cold traffic. And we have clients right now that are successfully running YouTube ads to ManyChat, to Facebook groups, or you could, of course, you can skip the ManyChat step if you want. So if you don't have ManyChat set up, you go YouTube ad just to the Facebook group. And the way that you do this is you add that bridge page at the bottom. When people click that link, click that button, you load a click conversion, and then that click conversion sends back to Google, says, hey, we got a conversion, and a certain percentage of those people that click that button will actually go and sign up. And so you optimize for more and more of those clicks, and more people will sign up for your group. And that's how you grow your group with YouTube ads. We actually have a training on that. It's actually one of the bonus trainings in the masterclass is YouTube ads to ManyChat, YouTube ads to the Facebook group, where we dive into what the strategy looks like. But that's essentially the keys: YouTube ad, bridge page, button, click conversion, loads back to YouTube, and then that brings them to ManyChat or to the Facebook group. Excellent.
Wow, so many knowledge bombs, honestly. So Cole has a question. I accidentally skipped it. I'm sorry, Cole. But
awesome.
So this is a question that is essentially super popular because of the whole new iOS update. But he asked, is YouTube tracking for retargeting going away? So what are your thoughts?
Yes, that is a great question. Now, there's going to be, some changes with iOS 14 on not just on, Facebook or on YouTube, but across, all different platforms. And so what we're seeing right now is the biggest change is in that third party tracking. And so Facebook's already implemented certain things. Google actually, has been making announcements and posts as well. When it comes to retargeting and tracking, they're going to be streamlining what you can actually track most likely in the future. So the way that this is going to work is it's similar to what we're seeing now is a limited number of conversions. So right now you can create any custom conversion for virtually anything. And what we're most likely going to see is that there's going to be kind of like a sandbox around what conversions you can actually put on your pages, what you can actually send back, and then needing to actually authorize and have that little, pop-up that iOS is going to be having. Now, that is going to be causing some problems with retargeting. I think it's important to dive into that, but it's problems that all of the different platforms are going to face. You're going to be able to retarget people, but there's going to be a degree of loss of the people that have that opt not to be tracked on those specific sites. Now, there are some workarounds because this is only reliant on those third-party sites. So this could be your particular website that people are going to, but this is not necessarily built around YouTube and Google itself. And so you can actually still track the people that click off of your Google ads, that watch certain, percentages of them. Those are kind of more middle of funnel conversions. But what you want to do is you can still upload those customer match lists, people that are going through. I think there's going to be a pop-up of additional software that's going to allow you to add those back into Google, back into Facebook, automatically. And there's already some that exist on the marketplace. And so what I really see with the retargeting side is we're going to need to find, as advertisers and marketers, those different workarounds that are going to allow us to still retarget people. Now, the thing that I will say is retargeting as a whole, this is likely going to impact a smaller segment. And then there's going to be workarounds for that specific segment because not all of these changes are necessarily going to impact. Obviously, it's on iOS. And then from there, the changes are going to impact the people that specifically opt out. And so we're not exactly sure how that is going to be lined up. But what I will say with cold traffic, and you didn't ask this question, but this is a really interesting one. With cold traffic on YouTube versus Facebook, the biggest thing that we are going to see is on Facebook, when you come to cold traffic, the big problem is Facebook's reliant on all of that third-party data. So, well, both platforms and really any advertising platform is going to have to figure out workarounds for that third-party data for those retargeting. When it comes to cold traffic, Facebook's actually going to suffer a lot more than Google, from what my understanding is. Now, again, I'm going to say that this is my opinion and me basing, what I have seen. Facebook say, Google say, based on the the facts and the data. We actually have our own marketing brain trust meetings, which is really cool. In our team at Ad Outreach, we take all of our media buyers, all of our ads coaches, myself, we hop on a call every single week and we dive into all of this. We analyze everything. This is a big topic of our discussion that we've had recently. Usually what we'll do is we'll take a look at, client accounts and we'll say, okay, this is a particular tricky thing. Let's go in, let's make sure that we can help this client get scaled up here. And let's take a look at that. But we also talk about, some of these big changes as well. And so one of the biggest things that we see is with these iOS 14 changes on Facebook, because it's so reliant on all of these other third-party platforms. So think about it. Facebook tracks you when you log into any of these different apps, different websites, all of those different places. Its cold traffic targeting is also going to be affected because it relies on the algorithm and all of the information that Facebook knows about you. Now, contrast that to YouTube and Google, because remember, this is only third-party data. So Facebook does collect individual data about you, but it's not as strong as the collective of all the different sites that you go to. Obviously, you have certain likes and dislikes and different things you interact with, but think about Google and YouTube. Google literally owns the two largest search engines. Google's the number one. YouTube is actually the second largest search engine. And all of that data is first-party data that Google owns. And so Google can still target people based on the data that's gone into their own website. So this is one of the things that is going to be different, is you can actually still target people based on that targeting. And so what we've found is YouTube versus Facebook. If you take a look at that, if Facebook relies so much on its algorithm and on those third-party data, when iOS 14 comes out, you're actually going to see a limitation on the ability to run those targeting ads, most likely impact more than what we see over on Google and YouTube, because it's built around videos people are watching right now. That's not third-party data. That's literally what ad you're running in front of right now. You know, in front of different keyword search terms, what people have looked up recently, the profile that Google has built based on you using Google products. What this is going to limit is those third-party products. And Facebook does have a lot of data itself, but it also relies on all of its partners, all of the different apps that you log in with Facebook with, all of the different, third-party tracking that it has, versus on YouTube and Google. Google already has so much first-party data based on your search history, videos you're watching, and all of that. And so that's why again, all platforms are going to face some degree of issues. We're going to see what's going to happen. But what I always tell people when they ask, to come in as a client, or they're coming in, it's like, hey, everybody's going to be on an even playing field right here. And so what you need to do is you need to make sure that you have people in your corner that you can trust in order to dive in and help you navigate the changes that are going to be coming. And you also should absolutely diversify, not just have Facebook ads, because we just explained why Facebook ads is going to be impacted so much. You saw them taking out full page ads in newspapers. There's a reason you didn't see Google and YouTube doing that, because, comparatively, again, they're both going to be impacted, but Facebook's going to be impacted a lot more based on what we know today, because Google and YouTube already owns all of that data as first-party data based on all the searches you do, everything that you do on YouTube. Gmail, obviously it's a free service. There's a reason it's a free service. And so you have all of those different data that you can use to target people based on the Google platform itself. So that went a little bit into the weeds. Also, it is a complex topic, and I'm doing this as a live AMA, so I'm not doing multiple takes. I have another video where I talk more in depth about this as well. We have that somewhere on our website, and I think we sent that out via email. We may have even posted it in here as well. But we have another video where we talk about it more in depth and kind of walk through the individual bullet points.
Of course.
Excellent.
And it's extremely clear how you explain it in terms of how the algorithms work, in terms of how, it's going to be affected in the future in terms of first party versus third party. And that kind of is a really good segue into the next question. And you said that, Google has so much data on everyone of first party data. So how would you recommend, and this is Juan's question, how would you recommend how to better define your avatar using YouTube ads?
That's a great question. So it goes back to those 3D YouTube ads targeting that we have. So not just trying to define an avatar based on one point and getting very narrow into one degree of, all right, here's the exact video they're watching, or here's exactly who they are. What you want to do is you want to create almost a Venn diagram. We have found that this is the best way to target the right people, because when you do this, you have a Venn diagram. You kind of have a circle like this, right? That's your demographic. So those are the details about that person, where they live, what age they are, some of the details about them. It also has details about their household income if you're in a specific country that allows that. And so that's in the US, Canada, Australia. Unfortunately, the UK and EU do have certain privacy laws where you can't do those household income targeting. But if you're targeting in one of these places like the US, and you're targeting people based on, all right, the demographics. So you have the detailed demographics. You know that this is the profile, basic profile of who this person is. Now what you do, and by the way, they actually added new detailed demographics where you can target people who have kids of a certain age. You can target people who are in certain professions as well. So they actually recently added new, over the last several months here, new detailed demographics. They were available to more people in the past as beta, but they've rolled those out across vast majority of accounts here. And so you can layer those demographics with what videos they're watching right now. And so now you know the basics about the person. Now you know what they're watching, and that's intent. And that's actually what I forgot to mention earlier. We were talking about, iOS 14 and YouTube versus Facebook. The key to YouTube and Google's success is intent, right? If people are searching for something and looking up something right now, it's not reliant on an algorithm and all this other data. It's literally what they're watching right now. If they're watching a video on how to lose weight, or they're watching a video on, should they get solar, right? And you're, basically advertising, solar sales or whatever it happens to be, right? Or if they're watching a video on Facebook ads, we're getting in front of them talking about why YouTube ads are what you should also run as well. And so regardless of what they're watching, that's the intent. That's what they're actually interested in right now, and you're reaching them where they have that intent and they're in that learner's mindset. But then the third component is you can actually layer that with audiences. Now there's a wide collection of different audiences that you can target. And I'm going to give you a pretty specific example that I thought was pretty fun. But for here, we'll just talk about, like, let's say in market for advertising. So if in market for advertising, you're layering with people who are watching Facebook ads or top 20% of household income bracket, that would be perfect for us, right? Let's say you're trying to reach business professionals who are looking to lose weight. They're motivated to lose weight. They're going to, buy a high ticket package, for fitness. So, you're trying to reach that. And that's, an example of a past client that we had, right? And so you can go and do detailed demographics. I only want to target people in the top 30% of household income earners, people who are over a certain age. Maybe this particular person works with men or whatever it happens to be. So you could take your detailed demographics and then you layer that. I think we may have lost Lauren, but we're still on here over here. Then you layer that with your videos. So what you could do is you could layer that with people that are, watching videos on how to lose weight, how to get fit, workout routines. So you take these videos over here, and then you can layer that with a business professional, somebody who is, or you could also layer somebody who's in the market for those gym and services. Although if you want to reach a business professional, you can take those business focused audiences and layer that as well. Or here's another thing that we did. This person was really big into ClickFunnels, and he wanted to talk to people who also, knew what ClickFunnels were. Or maybe online entrepreneurs, online business owners that he wanted to help lose weight, get fit. And so what you could do is take that top income bracket, the profile, who that person is, layer it with the videos they're watching, how to lose weight, how to get fit, those things, and then layer it over here with people with a custom URL affinity. And we've talked about, all of these before, all the different targeting options, but there's a custom URL affinity where you can target people based on websites and similar sites that they've been on in the past. And in this case, it was clickfunnels.com. And so imagine taking people, and reaching that person who is a, business professional. They have been on ClickFunnels. They're aware of ClickFunnels. They're looking to lose weight. They can afford a high ticket service. That, in that case, was that person's ideal avatar, talking to somebody that they knew they could speak to, an online entrepreneur just like them, who's looking to lose weight, and they could take them on as a high ticket client because they can tell them, hey, this is going to help you grow your business. And so that right there, or this is good, that losing weight is going to help you look good, feel good, be energized, and then therefore, be able to put more into your business. Sorry, I kind of skipped around there. And so that right there is what you can do. Now I'll give one more example. And this is kind of a funny example. This is an e-commerce example. So I was, just last week, I was on the, social media marketing world workshops, right? Which was great. They did workshops this year as opposed to the stage. They usually out there in San Diego. But, I was giving the presentation on YouTube ads, diving into it. And somebody asked, while I was giving that presentation, somebody asked, well, we have this dancing, pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern pumpkin, right? That they sell at Halloween, but they also sell year round too. There's people that buy it, the rest of the year, but obviously the bulk of their time is in Halloween. People, usually buy it around then. So they're like, how would we run YouTube ads, and get them ready, so that we can have our big Halloween, rush and really just scale these ads up. And so I said, okay, well, let's take a look at it. Let's dive in. And so I actually took a look a little bit because, this is kind of how some of these workshops are working is, all right, let's take a look at how this is going to work. So let's take the detailed demographic. Or well, actually, I'll say the detailed demographics to last. So there is videos about Halloween, about October, 31st / Halloween, right? So there's collections of topics. So there's actually a topic on Halloween that you could target. You could also, of course, target keywords as well. So Halloween, pumpkins, pumpkin carving, whatever it happens to be, Halloween decorations. Then you layer it with an in-market audience. Now, an in-market audience is something that Google has defined as you are actually looking to purchase something, right? Based on Google searches you've done, maybe YouTube searches, different sites you've been on in the past, because, hey, they're plugged in with Google Analytics. Now that part, maybe, again, when we talk about iOS 14, maybe that part, but obviously all the Google searches, that's still going to apply, right? And so based on all of that, you have in market for literally Halloween decorations. So you have an in-market audience for Halloween decorations. You have, topics on Halloween, you're layering that. Right. And again, if anybody's joining here wondering what I'm talking about, this is a dancing pumpkin, e-commerce product. And then you layer it with the new detailed demographics I just, teased you guys about, parents of kids between the age of, 1 and maybe like 10 or 8 or whatever it happens to be, or even 6, right? I don't know. I don't know what age loves dancing pumpkins, but you're going to go in and you're going to target parents of kids of a certain age. And so imagine that targeting right there for that person. Now, that person is so niched down that if they did not have the right targeting, and they're selling, I don't know the exact price point, but let's say they're selling $20, $30 dancing pumpkin, right? Or $20 to $50 is probably the range. If they don't have niche down targeting, then they're going to spend their money and they're going to reach people that aren't interested in it. That's why the 3D YouTube ads targeting is so, so important, because you're layering it based on, on the demographics, and they have new detailed demographics. You can also target people based on industry that they're in as well. Then layering that with what they're watching and either who they are or what they're in the market to buy. In this case, in the market to buy, you layer all that together, and right there in the center is your ideal client.
Amazing.
Excellent.
That's such a funny example with the dancing pumpkins. Wow, we have so many comments and people participating with their YouTube
Awesome.
ad questions. Thank you everyone for posting them in the comments. And if you have any more, Aleric would be happy to answer them. But we have Derek and Adam who said hello.
Oh, how's it going, Derek and Adam? Hope you guys are great. Excellent.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a question. Kate, who asked, what is Aleric's best advice for startups that can't yet afford ad outreach services?
That's a great question. That's actually a really great question. And that is why we created our YouTube advertising masterclass. As a big reason that we, created this is to give you that initial strategy and that initial view into how we think about YouTube ads and how we outline and map out our strategy for clients. Now, I will tell you, this is not a replacement for our full services. And I do recommend, if you haven't already gotten on a call with one of our advisors, to get on a call with them and have them help you map out as well and see what's going to be the best. But we do have our advertising masterclass. And what this is a full 3-hour-long masterclass that dives into our strategy around YouTube ads, everything that I was just explaining about our 3D targeting. All right, how do you do that? How do you do, what does that look like? What's the process look like in order to get in front of the right people, the right time, the right message with YouTube ads? We cover what are the key components of a YouTube ad. So having that hook, educate, call to action. We even talk about retargeting and omnipresent retargeting in that masterclass as well. So what this is designed to do is give you an overview of the strategy, walk you through what that looks like, and that can give you some of the initial tools that you need. I will say, though, that we have found the best success does come from clients that do work with us individually. And so I do recommend, if you haven't already gotten on a strategy call, to book a call at adoutreach.com/apply. And you can talk with our team. And what we want to do is map out, okay, what's the process to get you to this point? And so, if you book that call, we say, okay, maybe it's best for you to start here. And then we might be able to send you some trainings and then get you to a point where you're ready to work with our team. And so we always want to be the best, really stewards of helping your business grow. And so if you are in the position to invest and to join and enroll in ad outreach, then we're going to be excited to dive in, have our team hands-on, help you set it up, walk you through the process. We got copywriters, we're actually going to be able to go and help you with the ads themselves, scale those up. And, obviously you can go to our results page and take a look at, all the people that invest, and then they see that massive ROI. We, recently had a client that was really, really struggling, and they came in to our program. And when they came in, I forget the exact, Lauren, you probably remember off the top of your head, but, Alex, like within just, a couple, I don't know if it was a couple days or a couple, was it a couple days or a couple weeks, but he had his first, high ticket sale from those YouTube ads. And then they were coming in like clockwork. We were sending out, he was posting in the group consistently, and he is just doing so well right now. He actually sent in a message that in the last 2 days, he got $7,000 in sales. And so it's just transformed his business. And those are the stories that I love. And so I know when people come in, even if it is a little bit of a stretch originally, that we're going to work hands-on. Our team is the best in the business to work on the YouTube ad side. But if it truly, to see if it's a good fit now, talk with one of our advisors, because we want to make sure it is. We want to make sure this is a good fit for you. And if you are looking for something just to, kind of dip your toes in the water, just to see what's possible, YouTube advertising masterclass is another great opportunity as well. Just $47, the full 3-hour, masterclass showing what our strategy looks like, outlining it. And we want to provide as much value as possible on that. If you feel you didn't see that value, we have a guarantee attached to that masterclass as well. But what I want to do is make sure that you have that access to that masterclass, and then book a strategy call. Strategy call is complimentary, and we'll see and we'll map out. If not now, then all right, what are the things we can do in the interim to get you ready to join the program?
Awesome. Definitely. Okay, so next up we have Jordan's question. I know you were commenting in the chat. So Jordan asked, if you're getting clicks but no conversions, knowing that your targeting is on point, is it true to say that your creative may not be correct and it's the wrong people clicking on the ad?
So that's a great question. So there could be numerous things, and obviously, what we love to do is we'll dive in and we'll say, okay, let's take a look at what exactly is going on here. What I would do, what I would do is I would dive in and take a look at, okay, what is the targeting that you had on that campaign? Is it layered? Does it have those 3D YouTube ads? And then from that, when you take a look at that targeting, you look at the creative, see, okay, what was actually providing, or what targeting was actually providing those clicks. So you can actually go inside the campaign and you can see where the clicks came from. So that's what a lot of people don't know is they advertise on Facebook and they launch campaigns over on Facebook, and you're used to not being able to see inside the campaign. What you may not know is on YouTube, if you're running these keywords, these audiences, these demographics, you can click on the campaign itself, click on keywords, and see exactly where those clicks came from. So if you want to do a little bit of snooping, I would say take a look at what keywords, what audiences, what actually provided the clicks. And then you can use a little bit of deductive reasoning to say, okay, wait a second, maybe this keyword actually wasn't the best keyword to use. Now, I would also make sure that you're using, if you're running campaigns, it sounds like you may be running max conversion campaigns. I do not recommend that. 95% of the time, target cost per action, TCPA campaigns are going to work better. There is a specific strategy. It's also not like you need to know how the strategy works. And that's one of the things that we dive into in our program is actually how to do the TCPA. But really what you're doing is you're setting a TCPA, which is a target cost per action, for what you want to pay per conversion. And that's going to have Google limit how much it's spending on those specific campaigns to try and get conversions in that range as best as possible. I have talked to other, other people in the industry that are running, in addition to obviously ourselves and all of our clients, but I've even gone, I would say, like, listen, like our clients are seeing 95% of the time running TCPAs better than max conversions. Are you guys seeing that with all of your clients too? Yes. And it's one of the universal things. It's so funny. It's like, yeah, max conversions, at least right now, as of the date of going live and recording this, is not working as well. Now we're constantly testing that to see, okay, is there going to be a day where Google's algorithm is now maxing out? And max conversions is similar to the automatic bidding that you have over on Facebook. But what I would say is that'd be another thing to look into as well. So snoop in the campaign, also use your gut based on what you find within the campaign. And then make sure that you're launching your campaigns, I recommend, as target cost per action, where you're putting in your target bid. If the campaign doesn't spend, you're probably bidding too low. And if you're not getting the number of conversions that you're looking for, or it's out of KPI, then maybe you're bidding a little bit too high.
Awesome. Okay, so we have Sean who asked, would you start with keyword-based search, content-based, or audience-based targeting first?
That is a great question. So that goes right back to our 3D YouTube ads targeting, and I would recommend layering first. People have asked me, right, what is the, one of the secret sauces that we have? What is, how are our clients able to succeed so fast right off the bat? And one of the reasons, and if you go to our results page, adoutreach.com/results, I'm sure Lauren could post it. You can see all of the clients that are like, we launched our ads, and in a couple of days we got all of these, all of these new sales, or all of these, new calls, or whatever that goal is. And the reason that our clients get such great results right out the bat is because we layer from the beginning. so many people these days, they say, okay, you know, I'm going to test keywords first, then maybe I'll test the audiences. I recommend layering from the beginning. Especially if you're starting off and you're spending less than $1,000 a day, I highly recommend, unless you're in such a niche down market that your keywords are very long tail and very specific, then I would recommend layering if you're starting at less than $1,000 a day in terms of your YouTube ad spend. Now, when you go over that point, yes, you do have to go to audience-based targeting, keyword targeting. You know, you don't have to, but you'll probably want to expand into things that have a little bit more of that extra scale. But what you do is you find the keywords and audiences that work in these layered campaigns, and then those are the ones you'll pull out and run and test and see if they'll work individually in the future. But I recommend doing layered. It's a 3D targeting strategy. It's exactly what we talked about. You have the demographics, you have who that person is. If you're in high ticket, you're going to do a higher, higher income bracket. If you're not, then that doesn't matter as much. And then you take those details, you layer it with the videos that they're watching. And I would recommend with this, you either do a collection of keywords, which is honestly my recommendation, or you can do topics, and then you're layering that with the audiences. So there's in-market audiences, there's pre-built audiences. We have a whole training that we posted here where we show you, how to find those audiences, but you could also create your own custom audiences as well. So really there's an infinite number of audiences. And so what I usually recommend is taking that collection of keywords or topics, layering it with those audiences, so several different audiences, taking the demographics. Obviously, if it's high ticket, you're adding that household income. And then you're taking all of that together, launching those individual campaigns, and then you're going to be seeing which keywords are working. Great, let's scale those up. Which keywords aren't working, let's cut those, let's eliminate those, let's trim the fat, right? And focus on getting rid of what doesn't work, scaling up what does work, and then you end up with a campaign that's lean and mean. That's a big difference between YouTube and Facebook. And a lot of people who are Facebook advertisers, they think, launch a campaign, it works or it doesn't work, throw the baby out with the bathwater, because there's not really a way to see on the inside of the campaign what targeting is actually working. Whereas on YouTube, you can actually tell this keyword brought in this amount of conversions. This keyword, maybe it spent $100 and it got 10 conversions. Great. This keyword spent $50, got no conversions. Kill it. Let's get rid of it. And so then you can optimize the campaign. So with Facebook, what we have seen is it's kind of like on the other side on Facebook, it's kind of like, and you probably will resonate with this, it's kind of like throwing spaghetti at the wall, seeing what sticks. It's like a shotgun approach, right? You have some campaigns that start really, really well up here. You got some campaigns that just bomb right off the bat. Then the problem is you have campaigns that start really well and then they dip down as you try and scale them for almost no reason. It's because it's so reliant on an algorithm. YouTube is based on intent. So what people are looking up, so you have the video targeting component, but then you have who they are, you have the demographics. So what we found is odds are, especially if you're targeting right, maybe the campaign doesn't start up here, but it starts here, but then it gets better over time as you optimize it. And then as you scale, because more and more people are searching, it's more predictable as opposed to that Facebook campaign that's all based on an algorithm that could just have a roller coaster effect. That YouTube ad usually will see, okay, it'll maybe start here, maybe it starts somewhere in this range, and then you can scale it and get it better. And then over time, you can keep it running at that high level. And obviously then you're testing how much you can scale that campaign before you run out of inventory. So that's how YouTube campaigns are different. They might not be that, lottery winner right off the bat, but they're also not necessarily going to be that massive loser. They're going to start probably somewhere in the middle, and then you trim what doesn't work and you scale up and you get better and better and better. And that is how those YouTube campaigns, because you're literally going inside the campaign and you're tweaking it up as you go. You're removing what doesn't work. You're scaling, or, you're keeping what does work. You're scaling the campaigns that work. And then that's how you see those campaigns succeed over time.
Awesome. That's definitely clear. 3D targeting for the win.
Exactly.
Okay, so I definitely wanted to get to this question. It was asked earlier. And I know that a lot of people kind of view you as a model of how to, scale their business to 6, 7, 8 figures. And so I know, I'm sure everyone in this group knows, and who's watching this Facebook Live now, that you just launched the masterclass and you alluded to it. But I want to know the biggest thing you learned after launching this masterclass.
Oh, that's a great question. So yeah, we just launched, about a month ago, the YouTube advertising masterclass. It has been amazing. The reception has just been amazing. And I think the big thing that I learned is, I wanted to have a place where I could provide more in-depth value at a, lower ticket price point that's easy for people to say, obviously we provide so much free value. And I was such a believer before this, and let's provide as much free value as possible, get people to see the value that we have. And then people, join our program. They work with our hands-on, coaches, our copywriters to help them write their script, our ads coaches to help them dial in their ads, optimizing, scaling. We even have, some sales coaching and other things as well to complement the business on that side as well, and funnel help. But what I found is, wait a second, there's a gap here, right? And there was a need for something that was a little bit more. And it actually outlined the strategy. And I was like, wait a second, people are trying to piece together all the different content that I had done on here. And they're like, is this the strategy? It's kind of this Frankenstein thing with like, all right, this training that I did, this training I did, this training, this training. And I said, you know what? I've already really talked about what the strategy is, right? And I'm not worried about explaining the strategy. That's why I talk about 3D YouTube ads. I could just say my secret sauce, go invest, but I'm literally telling you what it is. It's the 3D targeting. That's the process. And so what I wanted to do was create a training that actually dives into that and shows you what my strategy from A to Z is. And it actually shows you the whole process, basically, all right, how do these YouTube ads work? What should you do in a YouTube ad? Hook, educate, call to action, right? How does 3D targeting work? And I actually show you, okay, here are the different ways that you can target. And I spent months building slides, putting everything together in a day, and Lauren's going to laugh. I would say in my spare time. Really what that means is on the weekends after I do, all the other stuff during the week and between other calls that I do, putting this together to show and illustrate, okay, here's the whole process. Here's how our 3D targeting works. And to go deeper than I've done on any of these free trainings, but really piecing it all together for what the strategy looks like. And then, really just selling that for ridiculous $47 because I was getting tired of all of the different junk out there that's talking about, all right, just run your placement ads, refresh those all the time, right? Or people who are, just targeting keywords and they're kind of just getting into that. I wanted to say, wait a second, I want to show you what the whole strategy is. And then if you're resonating with that, obviously you can see what that looks like. We got some bonus trainings in there too. It outlines the process. You're going to get so many value bombs and golden nuggets from watching that masterclass. But obviously, we can't work individually with whoever's watching. Like we can't tailor it to your business or that business or this business. We can't have our copywriters, come through the screen while they're watching a masterclass. And so there's still that need for when people watch the masterclass, if you like what we're saying and you like the whole strategy, right? We're not going to leave anything on the table there. We're showing you the strategy and you want us to help you hands-on implement it. That's when you're going to book that strategy call, at outreach.com/apply. And that's when you're going to go in, you're going to say, okay, I actually want your help, copywriting, getting the videos launched, getting the ads launched, optimizing, scaling, hands-on help throughout that whole process to take you to that next level. And that's what we really see. I think actually now the other thing too with our program, I'm a huge believer in client first and valuing that is like, we want to dive in and help everybody hands-on with their niche or niche, wherever they are, taking them to that next level. And that's, only the only thing that we can do in a high ticket program, but we can show you the strategy in something that is a lower ticket kind of front end product. And that's exactly what we did. And it's just, the reception's been incredible. And, I really wanted just to tell more people about what the process actually looks like. Here was our journey. Here's what we did. We even add a whole bonus section. We go, on omnipresent retargeting. We talked about all of that. And yeah, it's pretty incredible. So hopefully that answered the question, but what we really found out about the masterclass is, there is a desire for people to have pay a little bit and get access to understand what is behind, the doors when they actually invest, right? And so to walk through what that strategy is, and that can be a barometer. If you're not liking the strategy for whatever reason, then it's like, all right, well, maybe that's not a good fit. But we had so many people go through and they're like, this makes so much sense, that then they are going and investing in our program at higher numbers from joining, the masterclass and enrolling in the masterclass, because they know it's not just a bunch of free content I put out here. They actually see the whole outline of the strategy. It makes sense. And then who else are they, they're not going to go with anybody else. They're going to say, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to invest. We're going to take those next steps. And this is a little bit meta because some of you watching might be deciding if you want to invest with us or not. But I always want to talk about and dive in and talk about like what we're experiencing in our business, because at the end of the day, we're all business owners. We're all looking to help our clients, reach that next level. I say this, every day when we're on, our team meetings with our advisors, and, we call them advisors because they're really, what they're doing is they're leading clients the same way you lead your clients or your customers on a journey from where they are now to where they're looking to go. And especially if you're in a high ticket business, you're really that, that steward, that shepherd that's on that bridge, leading them to, from where you are right now to where that client wants to go. And that is just a massive responsibility. And if we can get more people to show up to the entry gate of that bridge to allow us to lead them to where they want to go in their business, in their life, then that's just going to be an incredible thing.
Of course. Yes, client success is always number one in our company, and just allowing all the business owners to be able to reach their potential customers and get their message out there to the YouTube, on YouTube, and just online is incredible. So we're at 12:03. Do we want to answer one more question, or do you want to cut it from here?
I think we could let's do a bonus question. Let's get those last, questions in here. We can dive into those quickly.
Amazing. Okay, so this question is from Juan, and it kind of goes off of one of the previous questions with the Facebook groups, but this is specifically high ticket. So he asked, how do you build high ticket Facebook groups with YouTube ads?
That's a great question. So high ticket Facebook groups with YouTube ads, this is exactly the strategy. I'm going to outline it right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a video, a YouTube ad. You're going to have the hook, educate, call to action. I'm going to outline the whole strategy. Hook, educate, call to action. So the hook is going to pull people in, whatever that industry is. So, basically whatever a big problem they have, an us versus them statement. So like for us, it's, what if you could ethically hijack YouTube ads, or ethically hijack your competitors' traffic and send it directly into your own funnel using YouTube ads. Sorry, that's how you do it. And then, or YouTube ads beat Facebook ads every time. This video, I'm going to show you how that works. Another one is, Facebook ads are killing your business. Lead cost is going through the roof. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use YouTube ads to get consistent leads and sales. So you see, there's three different versions. There's a curiosity hook. There's the us versus them, YouTube beats Facebook ads. And then there's, the problem-based hook, Facebook's killing your business, right? So there's a few different hooks. You find those hooks that you want. Then you educate, you provide some value, you talk about some of the key components to what you're going to be showing them in the group. And then you say, hey, we're going to show you all of this and more in our free group. We're going live in the group. We're showing you all this value. We're giving you all this value. We're going to show you exactly how this works, but we want to invite you to join our free group. Just click the link right here on the screen. I guess the call to action. And then you have the link. The link goes off to a bridge page. Now on that bridge page, what you have is picture of the group, you have all the bullet points, what they're going to get, how valuable it is, join our free Facebook group to get access to this, this, and this, and this. And then you have a big button at the bottom that says join the group. On that button, you embed a code that has a Google click conversion that sends back to YouTube to track those clicks. That way you're going to be able to optimize based on, button clicks, the conversions, not just people who click the ad, but people that actually click that button to join the group. And we found, with us, it's around 70% of the people that click that button on that second page that actually ultimately will join the group. You could send them directly to the group. You could also send them to ManyChat, and then the ManyChat sends them to the group. Up to you. If you're not sure yet, you could just run them to the group, and then you can always add ManyChat in the middle at some point if you want. You take that video with that funnel, then what you do is you target top, 30 or 20% or even 10, depending on how narrow your market is, of household income earners. So we have some people who are in real estate investing niches. Usually what we do is top 10%. We usually do top 20% for kind of more business owners, people who are, those business owners of, different businesses, things like that. You can also do top 30% if it is more of like a consumer-based high ticket. So maybe weight loss, things like that, right? So you take those household income targeting, you layer it with the videos they're watching. Obviously, those are a collection of keywords or topics, videos about your niche and industry. And then you're going over here and you're layering it with audiences, who that person is, what they're in the market for. You can create custom audiences. You're building that. So you're reaching everybody. It's kind of like a triangle, 3D YouTube ads. Right in the center is your ideal client. And you're getting those high ticket clients, high intent clients to join your Facebook group like clockwork.
That's awesome. I think that might be
Excellent.
what we have time for.
Awesome.
But this AMA has been honestly amazing. I loved seeing all of the energy in the comment section, and thank you so much everyone for asking your questions.
Absolutely. This was so much fun. Thank you so much, everybody, for hopping on here. I'm excited to do more of these. The last, month I've been busy moving. I moved just down here to Austin, Texas, but I'm going to be going live more. We're building out a full office downtown here with an incredible studio. Lauren's going to be joining us at some point soon. We're going to be recording all types of different content. We're going to be, adding more content right here to the Facebook group, to our YouTube channel. We're really going to be taking things to the next level. So really excited to see everybody here. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. Thank you so much for hosting this, Lauren, as well. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys next time.